Hello everyone, how are you? Today I brought you a really delicious recipe for a super quick cake. I'm going to make this recipe in a frying pan, so it's very practical, very quick, and uses just a few ingredients. Besides that, this recipe is sugar-free, wheat flour-free, and gluten-free. You're going to love it because it's delicious and the whole family will enjoy it. Stay until the end, you won't want to miss it. If you love easy, quick recipes that can even help you lose weight, you're going to love this channel. Take the opportunity to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. I have new videos every day, you're going to love them. Let's start our recipe here, which is really just mixing everything together. It's very easy and very practical. I'll start by adding the eggs here and breaking the yolks. When I went to add the eggs, my hand bumped into the vanilla and it already made a mess, but I'll take advantage of it and add the vanilla now, since it's good to mix everything together right away. And the cinnamon, because it will help give a special flavor. It's optional, but it adds a wonderful, unique taste. Cinnamon also helps us with weight loss and insulin sensitivity. And many people don't really like recipes with eggs because they have a strong egg smell or taste. When you add a different flavor like vanilla or cinnamon, it completely masks that. So it's an interesting option. Remember, the ingredients, quantities, and nutritional information are in the description below if you need them. There's the name of the video here and an arrow. Click there and a tab will open with all this information for you. And remember that I have a video talking more about how to lose weight with cinnamon, lots of great tips, what happens if you eat eggs every day, whether eggs increase cholesterol or not. I'll leave all that down below in the description. It already smells wonderful, like vanilla and cinnamon, very aromatic. Now I'll add the milk. You can use whichever milk you prefer. You can use skim cow's milk, oat milk, almond milk, peanut milk, coconut milk. Remember that I have a playlist of plant-based milks here on the channel, and I'll leave it down below for you. If you want a plant-based milk option, it might be interesting. I'm going to add the baking powder right now because I want it to dissolve well. When we make cake by hand like this, it's good to add the baking powder before the last ingredient, otherwise it forms lumps, since baking powder is a bit harder to dissolve. So when we add it earlier and put the flour in last, it gets mixed in much better. And the flour I'm using here is actually oat flour. I'm mixing it in gradually here to blend it well with the baking powder and the rest. Just a reminder, oat flour is simply rolled oats that have been ground up. And oats are really interesting for our health, for our well-being, because they have a very impressive amount of protein. They have a lot of fiber, so this fiber helps lower their glycemic index. And the protein also slows down the absorption of the carbohydrate, which is also present in oats, a carbohydrate with a low glycemic index. It improves bowel movements, helps lower cholesterol, so it's really beneficial. I have a video here talking about what happens if you eat oats every day. I also have a video here discussing which type of oat is best. Is it the flakes, the bran, the flour? I'll leave all of that down below in the description for you as well. I'm going to blend this more vigorously now and then I'll be back. Hold on. I went ahead and grabbed the frying pan here, finished up my batter, mixed it well. And remember, the correct amount of oats will be listed down below for you. I mention this because the oats will absorb a bit more of the liquid, so at first it might seem a little more runny. But as we wait, while I was grabbing things here, it keeps absorbing and ends up with a batter that really looks more like cake. But remember, the amount is listed below so you don't get confused. Everything is turned off here. You can see that my frying pan is greased with a bit of coconut oil. I'm going to add a little touch here to make our cake even more interesting. I have here a bit of culinary sweetener and a bit of cinnamon. This is optional. If you don't want to, you don't have to do it, but it will add a special flavor. And if you don't want to use the culinary sweetener and prefer to use brown sugar, demerara, or whatever kind of sugar you like to sweeten, you can use that as well. But remember that sugar will add more carbohydrates and calories to our recipe. I'm going to sprinkle a little here at the bottom. And remember, I even have a video where I talk more about the different types of sugar. I made a video talking about coconut sugar, brown sugar, demerara, light sugar, organic sugar. I'll leave it down here in the description for you in case you want to watch it to learn more, because I think it's super important. So I've already added a bit of this sweetener here. This sweetener is a non-caloric sweetener for cooking, and it needs to be a sweetener that is stable at high temperatures. Because we're going to take this to a high temperature now, So you can't just add those drops of sweetener that we use in coffee because it's not stable and could be harmful. So always pay attention to that. I've got some slices of apple here, which I'm going to use to decorate. And when you make this recipe, come back to this video and leave a comment telling me how it turned out. I'd love to know what kind of decoration you used on our recipe, which is going to look really beautiful. Let me start putting this here like this. Look, I've done the first layer and now I'm making another one on top here to place between the two apples I had put here so it gets really well covered with apple. Actually, I'm only using one apple, but since I sliced it thinly, it's going a long way like this, and it's going to make a beautiful pattern on our cake. These are the little details we add that make the recipe look even prettier. So if you can do it too, I think it's worth it. I'm gonna place the last piece of apple here on top. Look, everything is well covered. There's one piece left here. I think I'll fit it in somewhere, just so there's no waste. And now we're going to add the batter for our cake. Look at the consistency of this batter. As time goes by, the batter gets thicker, which is exactly what we want. So our cake will have a nice appearance. So let me put this away and let's add the batter here. Now I'm going to pour the batter in. Let's add it little by little to make sure it preserves the beautiful arrangement we made here. You may have noticed that I didn't use any sweetener in the cake batter. That's because with the vanilla and cinnamon, it already brings a natural sweetness. And there's also this amount of sweetener from the apples at the bottom, which will help give our cake even more natural sweetness. But if you want to add a bit of sweetener here, or brown sugar or demerara sugar, you can add it to taste until it reaches the level you find ideal for your cakes. Keep testing to find the flavor that pleases you most, because this won't change the cake or affect whether it turns out right or wrong. It's really just a matter of personal taste. And now I'm gonna carefully scrape this out, and then we'll turn the heat on our skillet down to the very lowest setting. If you're using a traditional gas stove, just be careful not to let the flame get too high. Sometimes it really looks like everything's going well, but the bottom of the cake can still end up burning. I'm going to grab the lid to cover it, which is important, and I'll be right back to tell you how long it took. Now I'm going to cover our cake and turn my stove to the lowest setting. Remember, I have several playlists here already organized. Cake recipes, healthy dessert recipes, and other wonderful recipes, including recipes with apples. I'll leave all of them down below in the description for you. Let's wait for this to cook, and when I come back, I'll tell you how long it took and cut a piece. Hang on. Look, it only took 25 minutes for the cake to turn out delicious. It smells amazing. Let's take it out of the pan. When I'm taking these skillet cakes out of the pan, I like to use a plate like this to flip it over because it's more practical. And look how beautiful our cake turned out. It comes out of the pan easily because I greased the skillet. It smells wonderful. There's a strong scent of vanilla, apple, and cinnamon. Let's try a piece here. So I'm going to cut a piece here. Actually, I'm going to cut a generous slice for us to try. Remember, there are apple pieces inside, so I'll make a couple of cuts at a time so nothing gets left hanging. I'll turn it here and cut a bigger piece so you can really see the inside. I really want to try it. Make this at home. The texture of this batter is amazing. Just by cutting it, I can already tell it has an incredible texture. Look at this. I'll cut a piece here so you can see what this cake looks like. Look at that. What an amazing batter. Make it. Everyone is going to love it. Remember, you can also substitute the apple with banana, pear, pineapple. And don't forget, I have lots of videos of delicious skillet cakes, but there are also cakes that aren't made in a skillet. Take a look down below. Tell me which fruit you're going to use. I'd love to see your comment, like the video, because that really helps me out, and share it with anyone who would enjoy it, with anyone who needs it. Let's work together to spread this chain of kindness. That's what I want here on the channel. Let's give it a try. Personally, I thought it turned out just the right amount of sweet because the apple on top is really sweet, and together with the sweetener, it brings that sweetness to the cake, which tastes like cinnamon and vanilla. Wonderful. Make it and you're going to love it. See you next time. Bye.
Mmm.